Good morning, my name is Gordon McCrory, I'm the Happiness Guy, and this is a video to help us all get through lockdown. We're currently on day 2. We think there's going to be 21 days, perhaps at least, of this to get through. And so therefore I'm going to be shooting loads of videos to give you little hints and tips of how to make the whole experience of lockdown as good as it possibly can be for us. So without further ado, what's this one about? It's really about connection, and it's about care, and it's about helping you feel better through your day. And so how I do that is through this routine of every day asking myself the question, first of all, how am I feeling? Something as simple as that. How am I actually feeling physically, emotionally, and mentally? And that question, it might seem really, really simple, but we often forget all about ourselves, and it's part of why we actually normally find ourselves in such a bad place in the first instance, because we're ignoring ourselves and we're neglecting ourselves, and we shouldn't, but we do because we're often too busy, and now's maybe even an ideal time to actually start taking better care of yourself. So if you've been neglecting yourself, then this question is going to be really useful. So as I mentioned, it's how am I feeling? How am I feeling physically? How am I feeling emotionally, and how am I feeling mentally? And I split it down into 3 areas because they're all important, and once we know how we're feeling in each of these areas, maybe one of them is more important and is one we could take action on first. In other words, prioritizing our well-being, prioritizing looking after ourselves. So let's take physically. How are you feeling physically? Well, there's a technique I learned in meditation called a body scan, and you don't need to do that. You might just know how you're feeling physically. But in a body scan, what they do is you take a few moments, and you're either seated or lying down, and you just scan your body from head to toe, or you could go the other way, I guess, and think, right, how am I feeling? So you might go through all right, have I got tension in and around here? Is my jaw tight? Are my shoulders tight? Is there any pain through my body? You just systematically work your way through and think, right, how am I feeling? And that might also relate to things like, how are my energy levels? So how are you feeling physically? I'll come on to then what we can do in a moment, but let's run through the questions first. So then it's how am I feeling emotionally? So it's like, am I up? Am I down? Am I excited? Am I sad? Am I scared? Am I anxious? How am I feeling? And just ask yourself that question and sit with it for a moment or two and see if you can come up with the answer. And then what about mentally? How are you doing mentally? And for me, I'd separate mental and emotional, and they're similar and they're intertwined, but they're not quite the same. So for me, mentally, I look at as, okay, well, how busy is my head? Is it just relentless thoughts? Am I getting no respite from it? And also, what about the quality of my thoughts? Are they darker than usual or more pessimistic than usual? So where's my head at? It's almost, where's my body at? Where's my heart at? Where's my head at? And then once we've asked those questions, we can start to look at, okay, now that I know how I'm feeling, what one thing could I do to make things better, either in one area or all of the areas? So let's say it's physically. Our body, maybe our back's a little bit sore. Maybe we could do some gentle yoga, some gentle stretching. Maybe maybe we need to go out and get some fresh air. Maybe we need to do some workout. What one thing could you do that you would want to do that would help your body feel a little bit better physically? When it comes to emotions, then, okay, what could you do to improve your emotional state? Now, maybe it's getting on the phone with someone you've not spoken to. I did that with my mum, well, I'd spoken to her yesterday, but I actually used FaceTime for the first time with her today. That was quite amusing, so that definitely helped me feel better, just because it was funny, watching my mother trying to figure out FaceTime. But she enjoyed it because she's currently she's currently in lockdown. She's looking at 12 weeks of we're not going to be able to visit her. So I thought, well, let's give her a FaceTime call because she's going to need something like that. So that felt good, just connecting with my mum, and helping her have a better day. And that's a key thing when it comes to emotions, actually. If we help someone else have a better day, we have a better day. But what else could you do for emotions? Well, maybe music's good. maybe just reading something that's interesting to you, if you like that kind of thing, or reading a novel, that can change your emotional state. Music, movies. My favourite one's obviously normally Friends, but we've not got so much capacity for that just now. But yeah, kind of, I guess video calling is going to be the way to go there. So yeah, what do you need emotionally? If you've got someone around you, do you just need a hug? Take care of that emotional need. And then lastly, we've got kind of mental health. And so the mental component of it is, how busy is my head? What are my quality of thoughts like, and what can I do there? So how can we improve kind of how we're feeling mentally? Well, one of my favorite ways of doing that, well, that's meditation. I tend to use apps. I'll use Headspace or Daily Calm. But it's not exclusively that. You can get kind of meditations from YouTube, and actually you can just sit in silence, set a little timer for a few minutes, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Sometimes the longer you can do it, the better. But yeah, just sit in silence and pay attention to your breathing. Maybe place a hand on your tummy and just breathe in and kind of breathe out nice and slowly. And that kind of and just focus on that. That will help your thoughts slow down, because if you divert your focus onto something else, your brain can't just be quite as relentless. Now, don't get me wrong, it's kind of not easy and it takes a little bit of practice, but meditation is the thing I think that has given me the most control over my mental and emotional kind of well-being, because once you can control your thoughts, or at least control where they go and notice where they go, you can drag them back if they've gone down a kind of deep, dark place. So I think meditation is really useful. If that's not for you at this stage, then you could try journaling. You could just try writing your thoughts out. Just getting things out of you can really help, and maybe can make things a little bit clearer. Questioning your thoughts as well in terms of the quality of them. Kind of, I ask this series of 3 questions combined in terms of thoughts that I'm having, and it's made a real big difference too. So any thought we have wants to be true, it wants to be helpful, and it wants to be kind. And at times like this, we've got so much uncertainty, we don't know what's going to be true. Most of us are afraid in some way or another. So I think kind of thinking about kind of, are my thoughts useful for me right now, or are they harming? So is it true, is it helpful, is it kind? And if you come up with something that kind of is true but it's not helpful and it's not kind, then perhaps try again. Think, well, what can I tell myself that's true and helpful and kind at this stage? Have a go at that. So I think those are kind of some of my main techniques in and around kind of mental health. I don't think I've mentioned the kind of exercise, I guess, but exercise would be kind of one that you could add on to this, although it's not directly affecting thoughts, very much indirectly. If you do something like high intensity exercise, it's really hard for your head to keep being busy, so it kind of really steals all the energy that your brain was using and gives it to your body. And at the end of that, your head will normally be kind of much more settled down. Or something like yoga. Yoga kind of, I think, is another way where we can just get out of our own heads and get into our own body. In fact, that's maybe a really good way of looking at it. If you're really struggling with being in your own head too much, then let's see how you can get into your own body instead, and that will kind of, steal the energy your thoughts are using. So that would be mental health. So we've covered kind of physically, mentally, and emotionally, how are we feeling, checking in with ourselves, and then kind of thinking, what could I do to make my day better? And if you do that every day when you wake up, then you're going to have a better day. And if you want to take that one stage further, then how about someone that you care about? Kind of ask them, and really, it's an opportunity to really connect and to really see how they're getting on. So how are they feeling physically? How are they feeling mentally? How are they feeling emotionally? And don't accept fine as an answer, because people aren't fine just now. So I hope that's been useful, and I will stop rabbiting on. Have a good day. I will be back soon with another video shot from home. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.